Welcome to U.S. News Source Channel. Intensity of the war on the Eastern Front has increased even more. Ukrainian armed forces carry out large-scale operations in Donbass. As a result of successive explosions from the front, Russian military points are also destroyed one by one. Intense clashes have been taking place in the last days, especially in the Bakhmut region on the Donetsk front. Ukrainian airstrike forces destroyed Russian military positions near this area. It has been reported that these positions were hit by artillery and mortar fire. Moreover, Russian positions were destroyed right after and many Russian soldiers were neutralized. Russian forces attempted 60 attacks. All of these attacks were repelled by the effective use of Ukrainian air defense systems. Moreover, it was reported that the mercenary of the Wagner Group was also mobilized with the aim of gaining control in the Bakhmut region in Donetsk. According to some officials, these mercenaries began to attack on the eastern line to gain control over the eastern part of Bakhmut. But the Ukrainian army immediately noticed the moves of these Russian soldiers and took action. Responding to these mercenaries resulted in many casualties. Previously, it was seen that these soldiers had a very difficult time against the Ukrainian troops at the front. Moreover, operations in this region are accelerating day by day. It was reported that a large-scale bombardment of Russian military points was carried out by Ukrainian troops this time. Russian military equipment caught fire due to these large-scale tank and artillery attacks. With each passing day, the bombardments and tank attacks carried out with rocket and artillery in this region continue to increase. Moreover, it was reported that attacks against Russian soldiers were carried out with the seizure of Russian military tanks on this front. Because of such moves, the Russian soldiers are now getting confused on how to advance. Smoke rises from Russian military points every day. In addition, the continuation of operations along the defense line in the region shows that new tactics are being applied. Fact that the Ukrainian army is able to develop new tactics when it starts to have difficulties provides great advantages. Moreover, thanks to the operations carried out with a large number of rocket launchers and tanks, the defense lines of the Russian troops on the front are starting to break down more and more. At the same time, the accurate moves of the Ukrainian army on the fronts continue to increase. Ukrainian Air Force planes attacked 11 critical points where Russian forces and equipment are concentrated, and 2 points in Russian air defense systems. Ukraine's rocket and artillery units also struck 2 command posts of the Russian forces, 4 Russian military points and a depot containing fuel and lubricants. As a result of these moves, smoke rose from the regions and many Russian military equipment was destroyed. General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine announced the latest losses of Russian forces as a result of such moves. Ukrainian forces destroyed 9 armored combat vehicles, 12 artillery systems, 2 multiple launch rocket systems, 5 tanks, 1 vehicle and tanker of the Russian troops. In addition, in just one day, nearly 600 Russian soldiers and 27 unmanned aerial vehicles were neutralized. These daily losses, which have reached quite serious figures, bring the loss of military resources of Russia, which has been increasing since the beginning of the war, to an irreparable level. Moreover, Russia is beginning to experience serious declines in the military field due to the losses it has suffered on the fronts. According to the statements of the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, the total loss of troops that Moscow has experienced since the beginning of the war has reached almost 97,000. Russia is finding it more and more difficult to cope with these troop losses. It is even thought that it may have to start a new wave of mobilization on some fronts. However, as it is known, this solution will not bring success for Russia. Because this mobilization step does not lead to a solution on the Moscow side. On the contrary, the losses and defeats on the fronts are increasing more. Reason for this is that these soldiers are sent to the fronts where conflicts are intense, with insufficient resources and untrained. For these reasons, the losses of Russia are increasing with these mobilizations. It is even known that these soldiers tried to escape or surrendered many times out of fear. Despite such reasons, if Russia realizes a wave of mobilization again, the loss of military resources will reach more serious dimensions and it will not be possible to compensate. Despite all these difficulties, the offensive efforts of the Russian forces continue. This time, it was reported that Russia carried out 2 missile attacks, as well as 2 attacks with a multiple launch rocket system. In addition, it was announced that the infrastructure was damaged in the Nikopol and Kherson regions. It was announced that the threat of missile and aircraft attacks by Russia for critical infrastructures throughout Ukraine continues. However, these attacks can be completely blocked in the near future. This can be achieved with various supports coming to Ukraine. Western aid to Ukraine continues. After Russia's massive missile attacks, Germany gave Ukraine the Iris-T air defense system due to Ukraine's air defense needs. Germany delivered additional missiles for these air defense systems last week. He also said that he would deliver 4 Iris-T SLM anti-aircraft missile systems. He gave the first of these on October 11. Remaining 3 systems are planned to be procured within the next year. At the same time, Germany supplied Ukraine 2 armored repair and evacuation vehicles, 30,000 40mm mortar shells, 5,155mm caliber artillery munitions, 4 ambulances and 18 interchangeable 8x8 heavy trucks. It is known that such ammunition is extremely important in the course of the war. In particular, it is known that some military equipment can even determine the fate of the war. This time, it is claimed that Patriot air defense systems will be sent by the United States to Ukraine. It is seen that such systems are of critical importance due to the air attacks on infrastructures that have been carried out by Russia throughout the country and which have been increasing recently. It is also known that especially long-range air defense systems have a significant impact on the course of the war on behalf of countries. For these reasons, after the increasing attacks of Russia, it was mentioned that such systems are necessary for Ukraine. Thanks to the various defense systems coming from the countries, it is seen from the prevented attacks that the Ukrainian army is getting stronger. Moreover, if these Patriot defense weapon systems come to Ukraine, airspace security will be provided more easily on behalf of NATO countries, and these systems will become the longest-range and effective defense system sent to the territory of the country. It is also stated that this system can protect the airspace against some aircraft, apart from cruise missiles. At the same time, thanks to the high-altitude capability and long range of these defense systems, airstrikes by Russia will be able to hit even farther than the intended targets. All such factors are of great importance for countries. For these reasons, the Russian side will be very nervous and angry if this aid is provided. In fact, with the arrival of these systems on the territory of Ukraine, they will want to target these systems. However, thanks to the long range of these defense systems, the areas where they are deployed will also make it difficult for Moscow to make a move. In addition, the Russian army, which cannot even make a move against the HIMARS systems, which have less range, will not be successful in making a move against these systems with longer ranges. It is already known that Russian soldiers are not very skilled at finding hits, even at close ranges. In fact, due to these military inadequacies, the loss of military resources on the Moscow side is increasing significantly. If Russia cannot find a solution to such problems, the war will now be shaped entirely in favor of Ukraine. Moreover, the more difficult it is to make up for losses, the more defeats will follow. All kinds of moves made by countries and all support from other countries have a much greater importance in the course of the war. In the following process, the steps to be taken by the soldiers and country leaders fighting at the front will also become much more critical. For these reasons, these moves must be carried out in a purely strategic direction. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.